Hey, it's Mike from Party for Crafts, back again to do another review video on the GweikeCloud 50-watt laser. Today what I'm going to be testing is the Rotary. The GweikeCloud Pro comes with a Rotary, and the Rotary allows you to engrave on round objects like water bottles and champagne glasses and things like that. So I played around with it a little bit just to get the feel for it, but pretty much early in the process here. You'll walk through the adventure with me. All right, let's go. So first thing I had to do is lift the machine up, because in the makerspace the only round thing I had was like aerosol cans, so I'm going to just put it on low power and engrave on an aerosol can. But to do that, it's really thick. I had to lift the whole machine up, so a roll of duct tape and a piece of wood seemed to be just about the right size to get that in the engravable area there. This is the Rotary here. It's the motorized side and the non-motorized side, and it has a little knob here that you can turn to raise that side up to level it, and it slides back and forth along this axis to make it the right length of whatever you're putting in there. So for this can, I want the whole thing to sit on the wheels. So move that out a little bit. You don't want, originally I had the can sitting with the lid up here and it wasn't level, and I realized everything has to be on the wheels. That's on the wheels and that's on the wheels for it to work. And then we come over here and make sure that in the app that the word Rotary is checked instead of plate. So plate is when you're doing flat and Rotary is when you're doing round. And then there are also two switches back there that you can see right there. There's two switches that have to be pushed towards the back to switch them over to Rotary format. So it says plate is forward and Rotary is back. So those switches are flipped and it's ready to go. Thing that I didn't realize is that you want it to, there's some arrows here, and you want these arrows to be lined up, because once you plug the Rotary in, you no longer have control of the y-axis of this arm. It cannot move back and forth. So you line it up so that the corner of the Rotary is in the corner of this hole in the plate, and then you line those arrows up, and then the center of the laser is in the dead center of the object that you're engraving. So that's how you get it all lined up. This will not move back and forth as it's engraving, but the head will move left and right as the object rotates to get that going. So I pulled up a simple image. It took a picture while the lid was up, so that's why it looks funny right now. But there's a rose there that I'm going to engrave onto that can. It will update the picture if I wait long enough, but I don't need to wait. I can click the print button. As soon as I do, that button is already green. It's already ready to go. That's pretty fast upload speed. It's quite a bit faster than the Glowforge, and I could have pushed that button immediately, but I wait for it to say upload success. And then here we go. So right now it's engraving a part that it already engraved before when I was practicing, and all you're going to see is some of the white coming off and revealing the silver below. So there are still a couple of things that I need to figure out about this setup. Obviously, if you look at the engrave, it wasn't on the top dead center of that can like it was supposed to be. But because this is so thick, it's hard to align it with the corner. And there's also a 1 arrow over here and a 2 arrow over here. And maybe if I had moved the arm back to the 2 arrow, then it would have been centered. So that would have moved it back, you know, 1/4 of an inch, and maybe that would be enough for it to sit on top. But you can see it was engraving that off of there, because I may have been off by, you know, 1/4 of an inch. It won't be in focus, and that might be why it looks a little funny. And I had the setting really, really high. I had no idea what setting to engrave a spray paint can. So I had it on like 83, 86%. That was way too high. So I could turn that down and get much better results. And I'll give that a shot in a second and show you how it looks after a few adjustments. All right, gonna try it again. I have it set up, aligned. I have my settings about half the power that they were last time. Click print, and I'll show you how fast this works. Green button, go. All right, so there it is. You can see it was doing its thing, engraving. It's a little rough because this plastic dip can wasn't really an engravable material, so it more shrunk than it did engrave properly. But if I found the right object to engrave and the right settings, the concept is there, and it was working, and everything was working as it should have. All right, I'm going to try this again, but this time with a piece of thick wooden dowel in there. So I adjusted it. I put some more wood underneath so that it's within the range. It's about 8 millimeters above the bed, and I'm going to give this a shot. Some things I still need to figure out, like if this was a water container and I needed it to engrave on a particular part, like as soon as I click the green button, it rotates, and I don't know how to align it like cylindrically where I want it on this. And the wood, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. But if this was a champagne glass that wasn't completely symmetrical or something, it would matter. So I have to figure that out. All right, click print, hit the green button, and here it goes. Wow, I had those settings way too high. I'm going to turn those down and try again. All right, got new settings. You'll notice it's a little louder. I had forgotten to plug in the exhaust fan, so it got a little bit smoky there after that last one. So here we're going to give it another shot. This time I turned the speed way up and the power way down, and this should go better. Here we go. That looks quite a bit better there.